Hey y'all, happy Sunday and welcome to this week's live Q&A session. This is the portion of the show where we allow YouTube to send out notifications that we're going live. If you're watching this live Q&A on replay, please scrub ahead until this graphic disappears and the actual show begins. If you're watching live and you have any comments or questions, please go ahead and put them in the live chat. But for now, grab a beverage, sit back, and relax while the countdown timer does its thing. Then we'll get started. Hey y'all, happy Sunday. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope your weekend has been going good. It's been a week. Lots of rain, 4 days in a row of waking up to at least an inch of snow and it being gone by 2 in the afternoon. But, you know, such is life. What can you say? Today is pretty much a tap dance day here on the Mickey Mouse Club. Meaning I did not have time to dive into a topic. Now I've got one kind of here in reserve. But if you have any questions at all, feel free to go ahead and put them in the chat. But before we get into anything like that, I want to say hello and give a shout out to my friend Steve over at Harneal Media. Now, those of you who have been here a while, you know that I sing Steve's praises every Sunday. And I do it for a reason. He's just that good. Plain and simply put, he's just that good. So if you're even toying with the idea of a website for your business, if you're ready to take control of your business and stop paying listing fees and stop paying commissions and things of that nature, Steve is your man. He can help you set up a web store. He can help you set up a blog, whatever you want to do on a website. He can tell you how to incorporate file storage if you have digital files through a Google Drive or what have you, so you can put those files up for sale on your website. I mean, literally the sky is the limit. There are very few things Steve can't handle. So if you're thinking about it, even toying with it, do yourself a favor, head over to harnealmedia.com. You'll find a link to Harneal Media in the description of this live stream and every video and live stream on this channel. And it's that way for a reason. He's very competitively priced and you will get 100% personal service. When you're dealing with Harneal Media, you're dealing with Steve. Not some nameless, faceless person in a call center somewhere that you'll never talk to again. So, harnealmedia.com, sponsor of Mark Lindsay CNC.com. Do yourself a favor, get over there, hit that contact us button, and shoot Steve a message. He'll take care of you. Thank you very much, Steve, for everything you do here in front of the scenes and back behind the scenes. I truly appreciate it. Okay, today, as I said, it is basically you ask the questions and I will try like heck to answer them, so long as we all remember that I don't know is a legitimate answer. But we'll try to figure it out together. So I have a couple of questions back here in the background that we can go ahead and get into. And I have a small little background topic if should we need it. So let's go ahead and let's get into the questions you have. Let's see here. We have Noelle, I'm guessing, 143. First timer here. Well, welcome aboard. Glad to have you. We're here every Sunday, this time. I'm trying to engrave a business logo on a board and I can't get good enough detail to engrave. It's from a small local restaurant and I'm trying to do it as a gift. Then I asked a follow-up question, are you trying to carve it with a V-bit? And they replied, yes, actually trying to do it on epoxy. Okay. I'm assuming... it's probably rotten to assume, but this is a multifaceted question, okay? It could be something as simple as the toolpath you're trying to use. Are you using a V-carve toolpath? Are you using a profile toolpath? Are you using the quick engrave toolpath? It could be, if you're using the V-carve toolpath, it could very well be the distance between the vectors you're trying to carve. If you've got real fine areas, you might have to swap out to a bit with a steeper angle. If you're using, for instance, a 90-degree V-bit and it's just barely scoring the top, that's probably the issue. If you're using a 60-degree V-bit and it's still just scoring the top, you might need to look into a 30-degree V-bit or even a 15. So it's multifaceted. It depends on the toolpath that you're using. It depends on the V-bit that you're using. From there, it could go in any direction. Now, I have a video on my channel that will kind of demonstrate what I'm talking about. And it's part 1 of a 4-part series I did on V-carving for the absolute beginner. And I just put the link to part 1 in the chat. And this is basically how V-carving works. And it explains how the width between the vectors you're trying to carve dictates how deep that bit goes. And you said later on in another question, or in response to a couple of questions, that you're getting missing letters and missing part of a bird. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you might just have to go with a steeper bit angle. So I don't know what V-bit you were using, but you might have to get a steeper bit angle. Maybe, I don't know what you were using, so 60-degree, 30-degree, maybe even 15-degree. Heck, I've even got a couple of, I've got one 10-degree here. So they all have their place. Let's see, Wendell here has another suggestion. You might have to adjust the dimensions, make it a little bit larger to compensate for that. Basically, again, the distance between the vectors you're trying to carve is what dictates how deep that bit can go. So I will also put a link to that video. I've already put it in the chat. I will also put a link to that video in a pinned comment as soon as we're finished live here. And that'll help explain how V-carving works. So, let's see here. We also have, and I hope that answers your question. Those are the most common 2 answers. If you're using the quick engrave toolpath, switch over to something else. The V-carve toolpath would probably be the best. The quick engrave toolpath, it will work with a V-bit, but that was generally made for something like a diamond drag bit. So, okay, Barry Lane has a question. Says, I have a 3-inch by 14-inch pocket cutout with a 1/2-inch diameter bowl bit to 3/8 of an inch depth. If I set the start depth at 0.325 and cut depth to 0.050, the cutout turns out a fraction larger than the 14-inch length. The width is okay. That has been a, I won't say problem, but that has been an issue. For some reason, using a start depth and especially on something like a bowl bit, for some reason, and I really have no clue why. It was explained to me once before that the toolpath is calculated based on the center of the bit, but it also takes the shape of that bit into account. And when you use a start depth, it's going to come down just a little bit to compensate for the shape of that bit, then make that cut. The best bet, if you're doing something like that, I'm guessing you must be hogging it out before you do this second toolpath. What I would do is I would do the entire thing with the bowl bit. And let me go ahead and bring this up. We'll see what I'm talking about here. I've got, let me add another sheet here so I don't get rid of my demonstration that I have here. So we're going to add a new sheet, and I'll just call it sheet 2. And I'm going to go over this sheet. So you have a 3-inch by 14-inch. Let's see here. We're going to go for 0, 0, and your width is 14, and your height is 3. And we're going to create that rectangle. All right. Then we're going to hog it out with we're going to use a bowl bit. You have a 1/2-inch bowl bit. I think I'm going to go with, I have a 3/4 inch. Let's see here. Maybe I can do it with the 3/4 inch. I'm using a pocket cut, and you want to go 3/8 of an inch deep. 0.375. And let's see, we're going to get rid of that. I don't know if you're hogging it out with something else. Oops. Get rid of a decimal. Don't want to make that mistake. Remove. And I'm going to select my 3/4 inch bowl and tray bit. See, there's that curve, but it's basing the size of the cut off of the center of the bit. That's where it comes, that's where it plunges in. And we're going to select that. Now, if you come down here and we look, it's going to go 0.375. Man, let's get rid of that decimal. I thought I did that. There. It's going to take 3 passes. Now, you want your last pass. I clicked on Edit Passes. You want your last pass to be 50 thousandths. What we're going to do, you can see we've got 3 passes here, and it's going to take them in 1/8 inch bites. 3 1/8 inch thick passes, or deep passes. You can set a last pass thickness of 0.05, like you said. Click Apply. And now what it's going to do is it's going to use that bowl bit to hog those 3 out down to 0.325. Then the last pass it makes, it's going to go ahead and plunge down to that 0.375 depth. This will take care of that issue. So you're doing the entire thing with that bowl bit. There's no misalignment. There's no assumptions. When you create 2 separate tool paths to do this, you introduce variables. You know, you introduce the accuracy of your machine, the accuracy of your control software, the repeatability of all of these things. So by just setting a last pass here, and then click Apply, then click OK, it's now 4 passes, but that last, okay, you are using another bit to hog it out. Personally, I just use the whole bowl and tray bit. I would just use the bowl and tray bit. You're going to get a better final result. Yes, using that that beast to hog it out may save a little bit of machine time. But here's where we get into the priorities. If the priority is to hurry up and get it off the machine, you may have to compensate this bowl and tray bit with your start depth of 0.325. You may have to compensate for that misalignment or for that variable. Now, if it happens every single time you've tried this, there may be other issues at play. But if it's a one-time thing, I would still prefer, you know, that 1/2 inch bowl and tray bit, that 1/2 inch bowl bit. It can handle stress. Believe me, it can handle it. So I would just go ahead and use the one. I wouldn't even bother hogging it out with the beast. No, it does not make sense to me either, Pete, but that's the way it was explained to me. Basically, what it is, let me get back in here. The software is trying to compensate for this shape, but basing the toolpath calculation off of the center of the bit. And sometimes it can get thrown off a little bit here and there. And again, that's because of the tolerance A of the software. Let me check what my tolerance is. I believe I'm still 0.0004. Toolpath settings, 3D toolpath tolerance, yes, 0.0004. That'll get me fairly decent repeatability. But then what is the tolerance of the control software? And what is the tolerance of the machine? The control Mach 4, for instance, it had a tolerance of 1 thou. So it would get you within 1 thou. But also, we have to look at the tolerance of the machine. So this is, the Avid is half a thou. That's the tolerance on it for repeatability. So you've got a 1.5 thou variance right there. Now we got to take into consideration the actual dimensions of that bit. It's a 1/2 inch diameter bowl bit, but 1/2 inch diameter is nominal. What is the actual diameter? So you see what I'm getting at. There are a lot of different variables at play that can all pile up to throw it off. That's just, that's just been my experience. There's a lot of things that'll throw it off. And like I say, if it's happening all the time, then I don't think those are the issues. I think there's something else involved, be it machine calibration or just the Vectric software. Again, why have I still got that up? Or just the Vectric software, again, compensating for that curve of that bit and making it just slightly larger. So Michael Mazalik says, an option, tell the machine you're using an end mill, but put in the bowl bit. Yeah, I mean, sure. Personally, Michael, my preference is to just go ahead and hog it all out with that bowl bit. Find it. Oh. Yeah. Now, I don't know which bowl bit you're using, but this is a Whiteside 1374 that can more than handle hogging out 3/8 of an inch deep. I could probably modify this. I could probably do it in 2 passes. With this machine, maybe a single pass, who knows. But that'll hog out some material right now, mister. So I just use the bowl bit. Ellen says, I lie to the machine once in a while. If it works, it works. Yeah, and sometimes you do have to lie to the machine. Sometimes, for instance, a keyhole bit. The tool database will not let you enter any bit that makes an undercut. So you have to lie to it and tell it it's an end mill, for instance. So, dovetail bits, they create an undercut. You have to lie to it. So, Michael says the bowl bit still makes a larger pocket, and that's when you can get into a pocket allowance, and that's where testing comes in. And here's what Michael is talking about. you can, oops, over here, you can add put in a pocket allowance here. If the bowl bit is making the, if it's making it just slightly longer, you can go with a, figure out how much it is and go with a pocket allowance here. Barry says, I think it's a vectric problem. I use 2 different size vectors to get past this. 13.75 for the bowl bit. Shoot Vectric a email. Vectric support. Shoot them an email. This is a common thing. But if you have to go so far as to use a vector that is a 1/4 inch smaller, there's an issue there. And it shouldn't be, I thought maybe it was a few thou, but not a 1/4 of an inch. I would be asking Vectric about this. I would shoot them an email. Let them know what you're trying to do, how you're ending up doing it, and see if they have a cure for you. Yeah, there you go. And ask them if it will be corrected in version 13. Not so subtle hint, Vectric. So, yeah. And this is one of the reasons why I just go ahead and use the bowl bit for everything. But that's just me. What can I say? See now, did I miss any questions up here? No, it doesn't look like I did. Okay, well, while I'm here, I'm going to go back over to sheet 1, since that's what I have my little demo here. I've never done a video on them, but it's something, especially in version 12 plus. A few things have changed in the software. You longtime users, you know what I'm talking about. Vectric changed around a few things in the interface. And they added some extra, I don't think they're calling them toolbars, but I'm going to call them toolbars, up here on the left and the right of the screen. And they're easy to ignore. They're easy to forget they're there. And but I've never seen anybody actually go through and talk about them. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on up here in these 2 toolbars. The one that I use most often here in the 2D view are the zoom, pan and zoom controls over here. Now, here, I don't know even why they included this. I guess some people don't have a scroll wheel on their mouse. But basically, if you click on that icon, you can come here and you can pan around your view. Move around this way and move around that way until you go click it again and then it shuts off. If you have a mouse with a scroll wheel, a lot of people don't know that scroll wheel is a button as well. Just push down on that scroll wheel and you do the same thing. But if you don't have a scroll wheel on your mouse, or your scroll wheel is not a button, you have this up here to help you pan around. I see some people use the bars here and here, and that's fine. But pushing down on the scroll wheel is just as easy. So, let's see. The next one over here is zoom your 2D view to a mouse-drawn box. Now, this is a single use. Every time you use this, you have to click it. Okay? So what I'll do is I'll click it, then I'll come over here, and you see my cursor is turned into a magnifying glass. And I draw a box around those 2 circles right there, and it zooms right into those. Just a slick little way of, but if I try it again, nothing. You have to click it every time you want to use it. Just a slick little way of zooming in on a specific area. The next one here, I use a lot. I use this one a lot. And this zooms out to show the drawing limits on your piece of material. So if I just go ahead and click that, it zooms out and it shows the limits of both sheets. Now, if I come over here, select sheet 2 and delete it, come back over to the design tab. And so I'm just using one single sheet, and I click that center icon. It puts it right in the center and zooms in so I can see everything. So if I'm zoomed way in over here playing with a little detail, I can just single click and I'm zoomed back out to look at the entire project. I use that one a lot. Another one we have here is zoom to the selected objects. So if I come over and I select that circle and I click on it, it's going to zoom into that circle and put it right in the middle of my screen. So I can do whatever work I want to do with it, maybe draw a crosshair in it or something that nature. And then just click to come right back out. I use these two quite a bit. I forget that this is here, the mouse drawn box. I forget that's there. But I never use the pan 2D view. So, Steve Russell says, doesn't the F key do the same thing? You know what? I believe it does. Let me zoom in. Come down here on my keyboard and tap the letter F. Nope, it doesn't. Make sure. Oh, it does. Okay. I guess I hadn't clicked. No, I hadn't clicked back in. So yeah, that's the keyboard shortcut. Hit the F key, then it zooms back out. If you wonder about keyboard shortcuts, you can come right up here to the help and go right there. Second one down, keyboard shortcuts. Oh boy. But be prepared. It will open up a browser window, and there are a lot of keyboard shortcuts. Believe me. So, be prepared. You'll be overwhelmed. Okay. 315 Gina says, what's the difference in the engraving and the V-carve toolpath? Let's jump over here. We're talking about the engraving toolpath and the V-carve toolpath. Let's take a look at the engraving toolpath. The engraving toolpath was, generally speaking, created to be used with something like a diamond drag bit. Now, you can use a standard V-bit with it, but it was designed to follow outlines and then do fills, if you want them, with straight lines or a hatch or a cross hatch. And you'll see down here, you've already got your saved toolpath. It will preview, but the preview is going to be light because this was designed to be just basically scratching the surface of something like brass or anodized aluminum or something of that nature, again using a diamond drag bit. A V-carve toolpath is meant to be used with a V-bit and maybe a clearance tool. It's used basically, as the name implies, it's going to carve between two vectors. And the depth of that carving is going to be determined, again, by the space between those vectors. V-carve toolpath will give you square corners, should you have any in your design. Where the engraving toolpath is going to follow the outline, and then if you add a fill, it will do a hatch or a cross hatch. It's not going to carve this out in the middle. It will do a fill to give you a hatch or cross hatch if you want it, or just an outline. It's not going to carve out the middle. I hope that answers your question. And it's a good one too. All right. Please keep the good questions coming. And now you see I have a toolpath here. I'm going to jump over to this side, back into the 2D view here. I don't have a 3D model in this design, but if I did have a 3D model in this design, I could turn it on and off here. Grayed out means it's turned off. The color means it's turned on. Let me throw in real quick here. Clip art. Let's throw a Wally in the middle. And there we go. Now that's a mess. I can turn off that 3D component right there. And I can turn it back on. Just depends on whatever I need to do over here in the 2D view. This one is turn on or off the bitmap. So rather than having to go up here to the layer manager and turn off a bitmap layer, you can just toggle the bitmap on and off right here. And that comes in real handy. This one toggles the guideline visibility. If you have guidelines out here, you can come right up here and you can turn those guidelines off. You're not deleting the guidelines, you're just turning them off so you can't see them. And you'll notice it's grayed out. Then I can turn them off right there, or turn them right back on. Also, this corner of the ruler, that's a button. That'll turn off the guidelines as well. Again, it doesn't delete them, it just turns off their visibility. So let's shut them off. I don't need them. Now here, this is something that comes in handy. I'm going to turn off Wally here. This toggles toolpath drawing visibility. If you're over here working in the design tab, rather than going all the way back over here to the toolpath tab and turning on that toolpath, you can just turn it on and off right here. Now the next icon over here is the drawing style of the toolpath. Let me zoom in here a little bit so you can see a little bit better. This is what they call a wireframe display. You got your start point here in green, and it's showing you with these arrows which direction that bit is going to cut. Well, if you want to see how close that bit is going to get to the actual vector, you can come up here and you can change this from wireframe to solid. Now that's going to tell you, based on the diameter of the bit you selected, where that toolpath is actually going to cut and how close to the vector you are. This comes in real handy, believe me. When you come over here, let's go back into the toolpath, and let's say you did a, where is it? Come on. It's not an allowance offset. There should be a boundary offset here. Oh, yeah, the allowance offset. Man, what am I talking about? Let's say you do a allowance offset of, let's make it something big so you can see it. 0.1. Now, it's a positive number. If I calculate that, and let's go back over to the 2D view. Now we can see what that did. I'm in solid, and that is now 0.1 away from the vector. A positive number Moved it away from the vector on an outside cut. Let me go back into it here. Let's make that negative. Negative number. It's going to pull it in closer to that vector. Calculate that. Back over to the 2D view. And we see now this edge of that bit is going to cut 0.1 inside that vector. Now, we were talking about the bowl bit just a little bit earlier. Let me close the preview here. We talk about that bowl bit in a pocket toolpath. No, didn't mean to do that. Pocket toolpath. All right. Model thickness exceeds material thickness. What are you talking about? Oh, he's talking about Wally. Okay, let's make Wally 0.5. There. Boom. Now close that. All right, let me go. All right. Yes, recalculate now. Okay, there was only one toolpath. Wow. In the case of that bowl bit, in my case, 3/4 inch bowl bit, select. I can do a, where's it at? Where's it at? Find it. A pocket allowance here. That pocket allowance is going to work absolutely the same way. Since you're pocketing it out, if you go with a negative number, whoop, it's going to come along. It's going to come in. If you use a positive number, it's going to work its way out. So you have that option here. In the pocket toolpath, it's called a pocket allowance, right down here. Whereas on a profile toolpath, it's an allowance offset. Set that back to 0. Recalculate the toolpath. Go back over to the 2D view, and I'm right back on that vector again. Okay. All right, Kimberly Went is asking, to make a small dish 3 inches on top, 2 inches on the bottom, bowl and tray made flat sides. Use a core box instead, or flip to account for the inability to undercut. Okay, Kimberly, are you talking about the outside of it? You want it 3 inches on top, 2 inches on the bottom? Or are you talking about the slope inside the bowl? If you're talking about the slope inside the bowl, this is, if you have a spire, you can create a model for that. If you have V-carve, you can use the molding toolpath for that, to create that. Then it's a swept profile that will create that that taper. I have a video on creating tapered holes with V-carve using the molding toolpath. You just won't go as deep as I went in that video. Let's see, I'll be tapered holes. All right, I just wrote myself a note. As soon as we're finished live here, I will, I'll put a link to that video in a pinned comment. That video and the how V-carving works. All right, so I've got both of those written down. I'll put them both in that pinned comment as soon as we're done live here. So, okay, you're using V-carve. Perfect, because I demonstrated that. I believe I demonstrated that in V-carve. And you would use the molding toolpath. So, it works. Believe me. Okay. I believe that was it as far as the questions are concerned, but please keep them coming. All right. Let me go back over here. And so those are basically the icons over here and over here in the 2D view. Now when we switch over to the 3D view, you'll notice Wally is still there. I have him turned off, and I can still see the toolpath and everything and all my guides. Well, I can turn off my guides right here. These are pretty much the same. I can turn off the model, I can turn off the vectors, but I can't change I can turn the toolpath on and off, but I can't change the drawing style. Not yet. I don't know if that's coming. But there are a few other things here as well. Let me put Wally back up. So I've got Wally here. Everything is great. Here is where I can turn on and off vectors. The vectors are now turned on. They're now turned off. Bitmap, same thing. I can toggle the bitmap, turn it on, turn it off. Now this is going to be subtle because I don't even know if you can see it. But this one here will turn off the material. So you're just looking at the model itself. And turn that material block back on, or turn the material back on. This one is sometimes come in handy. This draws the whole material block so that you can see where that model is, how it's going to be cut. This is your material block based on what you put in your job setup. So you can toggle that on and off. And that comes in handy every once in a while. Then you have your X, Y, and Z zero origin. That is this arrow right here. Blue being Z, red being X, and green being Y. The location, when you turn this origin on, the location of it on the material is based on, again, what you entered in job setup. Go back over here. I have my XY datum position set to the center. If I change it to the bottom left corner, you see that the origin moves to the bottom left corner. That's just one of those little reminder of where you have your origin set. Now, if I hit cancel, it goes back to the center because I never actually changed it. So let's go ahead and turn that off because I find it distracting. Just me. These three remain the same. You have zoom to a box. You have zoom out to show the full material. Then you have zoom into a selected vector or component, and I don't have anything selected, so let's zoom in on Wally. These three are the same. Let me go back to a straight top view. Now, when I click on this one, come on, it's going to move around to straight camera views. I can't remember what this is called. I cannot remember what this is called. And the 3D view doesn't have the pop-up bubbles. That's something we got to talk to them about. So those are basically the controls up here in these toolbars. And you'll notice in the 2D view, I have Wally turned off. But if I jump over to the 3D view, these controls are independent of the controls on the 2D view. So now Michael Koenig says, using the draw line polyline, is there a way to get it to where I can pick a point, then enter a number for length? Yes, there's a couple of ways of doing this. We'll go up here into the Draw Line tool. And that's what all of this is for. Up here. Let me hit the letter S so I'm drawing a line, and I'll click here and start moving in that direction. All right. Now I can go, let's say I need 2 inches. 2.0, enter. That's all. I just tapped, and this line segment is 2.0 inches. Now, I hit the space bar, and that's it. So basically, start your line wherever and head in the direction you want to go. And 6.0 and hit enter, and it draws a 6-inch long line. But this is still attached, so now I can move over here and go 5.0, enter, and it drew another segment 5 inches. Now I can come down here and I've got 6.0, enter. Then come over this direction and just hit tab, and it closes the vector. That's one way of doing it. That is the real easy way of just entering a number and getting it to go that far. Just basically click to start the line, move the cursor in the direction you want to go, and then enter the number, say 1 inch, 1.0, or 0.75 if you want 3/4 of an inch. Then hit enter, and it'll take over for you. Another way of doing it is using these boxes up here. You can enter a point in relative coordinates. Well, this would be absolute coordinates. So let's say I want to go to x1, y1. It's going to make my first point at x1, y1. Then I'll click add. And there is my point. What? Wait a minute. What am I doing? Mark. Undo. I just want 1. x1, y1. There. So that's my first point. Now, to draw a vector, I need a direction and I need a length. So for my next point, I'll have to clear that out. Back. I can either enter a absolute coordinate up here, or I can enter an angle, 90, and a length, 2. Then click add. So it did a 90-degree angle, 2 inches long. So for my next point, I can come along negative 45, length 3, add. And it put me a point down here. Then I have a choice. I can either come up here and hope I get the end, or move in this direction. Click. I have to close that. No, I don't. Come on. Move in the direction. Click tab. Why are you not doing it? Well, ain't that a revolt in development? All right. Hope. Now, why didn't that close that vector? All right. So anyway, there's a couple of ways there, Michael. Okay, you said that's what you used to do and it's not working now. Make sure you're moving the cursor in the direction you need it you want that vector to go. It needs not only, because if you just enter a length, it doesn't know which direction you need. So by moving your cursor, again, just click and kind of move in that direction, then type in a length and it'll do the rest. You have to give it a direction. 0.75. So, okay. Vectors need a start point and an end point. The way you get that end point, you can either enter an angle and a length. You can enter an absolute coordinate, or you can just use your mouse and guesstimate. So remember that a vector is an object. So I don't even know how long that is. But with it selected, I can come over here to resize. I see now it's 5.1. Let's make it 5.0. Click apply, and it scales down. Now this time I anchored it in the center. What I should have done was left or right, unless I wanted to change the size from the center. So we'll Control Z that. I'll anchor it here so it gets longer in this direction. 5.0. Apply. Close. So you can change the size this way by using set selected object size. But when you're drawing, you need to, it needs to know a direction. It has to know which direction as well as a length. So, okay, well, we've been going for about an hour. So I think I've gotten every... Okay, Michael Koenig says, I thought maybe something had changed with the update. Now it beeps when I try it. If it's beeping, there may be something else going on. I don't know how long it's been since you've restarted, but you might want to save any file you got open and restart the software. Then reopen that file and see what's going on. I don't know. Windows has been trying to force an update on my computer. I need to do it. I just haven't done it. But that's something to look into as well. You might have to restart the software. You might have to restart the computer. If that doesn't solve it, send an email to Vectric support. Especially if when you click, it just beeps. There's an error. There's something going on inside the machine there. So... all right, I think I'll go ahead and wrap this up for this week. Like I said, I didn't really have a topic, but I hadn't seen anybody really go over those two toolbars that were added in version 12. Still no word on version 13. They keep that info kind of... they keep their cards pretty close to their chest on that. They haven't even set up a beta group for version 13 yet. But if you have suggestions, if you have feature requests, something you would like to see in version 13, send an email to Vectric support and make the subject feature request and tell them what you want. They do listen to our feature requests. A couple of things that Michael has requested have been incorporated, and one thing I requested has been incorporated. So they do listen. So, what's for dinner, Mark? We're having a chuck roast. A slow cooker chuck roast. Anyway, channel members. This week, I'm going to get into creating... Okay, you have gone to Easy Create, and you have created your 3D model. You have downloaded your V3M. Now, how the heck do you add it to clip art? I'm going to show you how to create custom clip art libraries tomorrow evening on the members only live stream. I haven't set it up yet. I was running around yesterday. Anyway, I haven't set it up yet. I'll set it up as soon as I'm done here. We're going to be getting into creating custom clip art libraries, how to add your files to clip art, how to... There are 3 or 4 different ways of doing it. We're going to go through all 3 or 4 ways. Plus your projects when you send me photos. That's again tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and we'll go as long as y'all want. Also remember, Thursday, we have Mike and John taking us through more of Tinkercad for 3D printing. And again, that's Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Excuse me, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Boy, get it straight, Mark. Look for your email, should be coming soon. Give me about an hour, and I will have the link posted up on the posts tab on my YouTube channel. And the link will be there. If you have your email settings set up right, you will be sent an email with the links. Also, don't forget about our super secret WhatsApp group, our WhatsApp chat. It's a lot of killer information going on, a lot of great collaboration going on in that WhatsApp group. It is not social media. WhatsApp is an encrypted texting application, just like texting your friends and family, except you're sharing with a bunch of like-minded folks that just like to have fun, play with CNC routers, 3D printers, and lasers, and all kinds of nifty things. That's for members only. Next week, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Wow, that was sharp. Next week, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So that's where you come in. Please let me know. Leave a comment. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what, what topics do you want me to holy cow. Barry Lane, welcome aboard. Great to have you. I'm going to create the live streams soon, but you now have access to all of my previous members only live streams. It's a great group of people. You will find my email address in the description of any of those live streams. Shoot me an email, please. Let's see here. Welcome aboard, and thank you for becoming a member. Let's see. George Nevada. With V-carve Pro, can I save more than one V3M into my clip art at the same time? Yes, you can. You can save. I think it's unlimited. I have never hit the limit on how many V3M files you can put into one file. So, yes, you certainly can. All right. Next week, I don't know what I'm going to do. I say again, leave me a comment. This has never been about me. It's always been about you. But I don't know what you want to see if you don't tell me. If there's a tool you don't understand, if there's something you'd like to take a deeper dive into, let me know. Okay? Leave a comment. Give me a thumbs up on your way out. And other than that, thank you for spending part of your Sunday with me. Pete, Nature's Live Veg, sculpt and imported V3M from Easy Create, specifically fixing the eyes. That's Aspire only. And I will, I'll look into that. Eyeballs are a difficult thing, simply because shadows are supposed to be carved deeper and it never looks right. It's just one of those things. But yeah, it's a legit thing, Pete. I get it. But it is. Yeah. Well, thank you. I will get into it. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for spending part of your Sunday with me. And channel members, I'll see you tomorrow and possibly Thursday. But until then, y'all take care. Have a great rest of your week. Go do something cool. Thank you.